Good morning, good morning. Shaq wants me to use my meta glasses so that he can pull up to your guys' address if you're not paying attention. No, but seriously, all glory to God. I'm very grateful to be up here today. Really wouldn't be able to do it without God. But also, thanks to everybody putting on the event. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, like getting the recognition, booking the venue, organizing everything. So thanks to Samir, Shaq, George, Betsy, everybody for putting the event together. Thank you guys. So really quickly before I go through my presentation, I want to summarize my story just to kind of give you guys an idea where I come from. So I actually grew up in West Michigan, a city called Muskegon, Michigan, and it's a very blue-collar area. It's nothing like the DMV. Everybody is either in construction or working in a factory, some sort of trade. So my dad owned a drywalling company basically his whole life. Never really got to, I had a great father, but I never got to see him because I got up for school, he was already gone at work, and when I came home and I was getting ready for bed, he just got home. And on the weekends, he was too exhausted, we didn't really get to do anything. Great father, never really got to spend time with him, but that's really what made me want to get out of the construction industry, because when I was 16, I found out I had a kid on the way. And trust me guys, that's normal where I'm from, right? People don't go to college where I'm from, right? We're all degenerates. Yeah. No, but people don't go to college because all of the jobs there, you have to understand, all the jobs there are paid minimum wage. They don't care if you have a master's or you have a GED. They don't care. They're paying you $17 an hour. It doesn't matter. So there's no really incentive to go to college. So I never thought about going to college. Most people don't, so they just have kids. Right? You gotta stay busy somehow, right? So my son was born when I was 17. I did roofing for almost 3 years, and I actually seen one of Josh's posts on Instagram. And at first I became a client. A few days after that, ended up becoming a recruit, getting licensed and all that. But moved here in 2023, about 8 months after I started, and then Josh and I opened an office in Reston. So, talking about why Primerica is the best opportunity in our industry. Obviously the financial industry is really good, but why are we the best in the industry? I see a lot of people online, I don't know if you guys know, I do a lot of social media. And so I'm interviewing a lot of people that are in other companies, FFL, WFG, all these other companies, and I ask them about how it works, how's their compensation, what's the business model like, and you gotta know that we're in the right spot for two reasons. Number one, if you don't believe we're the best, you're not gonna attract a lot of people into the company. If you think some other company is better than us, why would they feel convicted to work with you, right? And then number two is before you begin scrambling up the ladder of success, you ought to know it's leaning on the right building, right? If you build something really good at the wrong place, you might as well should have built it at all, right? I read that in I forget who wrote it, maybe it was Brian Tracy, but number one is character over commission. The easiest way to make money isn't always the right way. Right? I know that growing up in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can make a quick buck, but it might not have been ethical. I always joke if I never got in Primerica, I would be incarcerated. But we're building a reputation where clients actually trust our recommendations because we actually focus on what the clients need, not just what pays the most. Like I talk to people, like I said, I interview a lot of people and I talk to them, and I ask them like how they decide what they sell to the client, and they just say, if they don't diagnose the client's situation. Like I literally talked to somebody that was in FFL, and I was like, okay, how do you determine if it's IUL whole life term? He said, well, I just figure out what their budget is, and whichever product pays me more, that's what they're gonna buy. They don't care. They do not care what the client needs. Like they just want to make money, and our reputation is worth a lot more than one sale. Like we actually build relationships with our clients. My clients, a lot of them I talk to consistently, every week, every month, on a continual basis. And we can actually say that we do what's right for the client 100% of the time. It's a very simple company. I forget who I heard say it, but it's very hard to hurt somebody in Primerica. We do term life insurance and mutual funds. What are you going to do? Give them too much money? Like you can't really hurt somebody in our company. So if somebody leaves Primerica to go to another company like WFG, FFL, any of these companies, they were never a crusader. They never cared about what we did. They never cared about the client ever. Because if the people actually cared about the client, they would not go to another company. They would stay with Primerica because we're the only company that actually does what's right for the client 100% of the time. And they will realize that eventually. So number 2 is we build people. We don't just build producers. You know, we measure success by the people we develop, not just the numbers they produce. You know, these companies, they don't really talk about self-development or anything like that, or like Samir was saying, they don't talk about recruiting. Like all they want to know is how much premium did you do? That's it. What's your QBI? What's your premium? That's literally the only thing they care about. Before I was even licensed, Samir and Josh were sending me Jim Rohn audio, sending me Brian Tracy, read this book, do this. They don't do that at other companies. Literally all they do at these other financial companies, they treat you like a glorified employee. That's it. Like that's it. You're on 1099, you're still on commission, right? So you run your own thing, but they only care, just like at a corporation, they literally only care about the numbers you produce. That is it. So, leaders, are we creating people that genuinely want to follow? You know, I had zero leadership before I got into this company. And reading these books and just being around Josh and Samir, it's helped me a lot. Families. You know, I've learned so many things from Shaq in terms of having kids like that. Like I've learned more things outside of business that I would have never learned if I would have stayed in Michigan. Probably because my family just didn't know, right? But there's so many other things that are, like money aside, business aside, there's so many things you learn from the top people in Primerica that you won't get anywhere else. Number 3 is long-term thinking. You know, you gotta think, where do you want to be in 10 years? And many people, they chase whatever looks good, right? Like there's some new hot thing that's out and they're always jumping. They're always jumping. Like, I remember when I first got into Primerica, the big thing was trading. Right? Everybody was trying to trade, oh yeah, I'm gonna make $1 million in one day, right? But they have, you know, they're trading 30 cents on a penny stock, right? So, and they're, oh, Bitcoin, I'm trading Bitcoin and doing all these things, and then it's high ticket sales, and people are just jumping from thing to thing, and they're not actually staying consistent enough in any of those things. Like, to be honest, they could probably just do one of those things for 20 years and be successful in it. But because they're always jumping opportunities, they're never gonna be good at any of them. So if everybody thought long-term in this industry, everybody would be in Primerica because we're the biggest. We're a huge public company. Like, I don't think people understand, like PHP, FFL, they're private. They don't have to disclose their earnings. They don't have to do what's best for the company. They can literally just do whatever they want. Nobody's watching them. They don't have to say anything. They don't have to be compliant. Primerica is the strongest company in this industry by far. But it's literally, it's not even close. And it reminds me of, Samir has told me that when he was early in Primerica, there was like the mortgage thing, right? Where people were just like, it was basically like some huge scam, right? People were just making a bunch of money from mortgages and real estate, but it wasn't even real. Where are those people at now? Who knows? Probably just working some normal 9 to 5, right? So you gotta think long term. If you think short term, all you're thinking about is today and tomorrow, and it's hard not to, right? Because we got bills to pay, but if you're only thinking about today and tomorrow, then you're just gonna keep jumping ship as soon as something else looks prettier, right? And the last thing is leadership. Leadership really matters. You know, people, I heard somebody say this, people don't quit companies, they quit leaders. And I just have such a good example of what good leadership is, availability. Man, I remember one time when I was 18, I was probably in the company for like 3 or 4 months, and I got kicked out of the house I was living in, and my son was probably like 4 months old, right? So I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was at a playground in like the middle of the streets, right? And I called Josh, and he was on the phone with me for like 4 hours, and I'm just sitting there at a playground. So he's always been available for me. Same thing with Samir. Got to be honest, tell the truth even when it's hard. Like, you have to have integrity. You have to be honest with your people. Coachability. It's funny, I see a lot of people, they tell their people to be coachable, and then their RVP tells them to do something and they don't do it, right? And if you want your people to be coachable, you gotta be coachable. You gotta lead by example. You can't tell your people, hey, you need to get 3 to 5 directs a month, no matter what, and then you get one. Why would they listen to you? You're not even doing it. You gotta admit your mistakes, and you have to invest a lot of time in others. Samir and John have invested a lot of time into me, a lot of time, and somebody asked me, I was interviewing somebody that worked for, I think it was Symmetry. They were licensed with them, and they were jumping from company to company, and they asked me, they're like, why do you stay with Primerica? It just doesn't make any sense to me. First of all, he's an idiot, right? But I said, dude, these guys have done more for me than my entire family has done for me. Why, like, you would have to be, I don't want to swear, but you'd have to be an idiot to leave. Like, you have to be so disrespectful to leave somebody after they've done these things for you, right? And so there's you have to have loyalty to the company as well. And then the very final thing, I don't care how much money we make if we can't sleep at night. I actually heard a lady from home office say that, Julia Hope, I think her name is. So you can build a business almost anywhere. The bigger question is, what kind of business do you want to build? And who do you want to build it with, right? So I want to build one where clients trust us, families are actually helped, leaders care about people, and where our success comes from doing the right thing consistently. And if we do that, people won't join us just because we're the hottest new thing. They'll join us because we actually care. That's all I got for you guys.